Yeah, we're going to start our workshop now. I've put the links into the chat, so it'd be great to have you guys and gals continue to join us for this workshop. Like I said, it's going to be very relaxed. We're going to go through everything step by step, but at the end of it, in half an hour to 45 minutes, and a little bit more if you want to look at the results and dive a little bit deeper, you will be able to perform security testing automation in your pipeline using our NexPloit engine. Other scanners are available, but we're going to be using our one for obvious reasons. But if you haven't already done so, please sign up for your free account. It literally takes you seconds, and actually Bar will be going through the 3-step wizard on how to get set up, and you will see just how easy it is. Join our Discord server. There is a Crystal Conference channel where you can also be putting support. I'm a little bit upset that everyone's been very, very quiet so far, but hopefully people will open up a little bit as you wake up if you're on the west coast of America and Argentina and Brazil, etc. But we want it to be hands-on. We want it to be interactive. I think you'll see Bar and I are the antithesis of wanting to do things very, very corporate. We want you to enjoy it, have fun. We want you to learn. We want you to engage with us as well. And literally feel free to interrupt with any questions that you have. I'm more than happy to unmute anybody if you can't unmute yourself, to put Bar in his place, put him on the back foot if you have something to ask. We're here to answer any questions you have. So if you haven't already done so, sign up for a free account, or you can do it with us because Bar will be signing up himself and showing you how easy it is. But more importantly, in an hour's time, you should be able to know exactly how to integrate security testing into your pipeline, and actually, via our Discord, have a really good support channel to help you with your security testing automation with Crystal, because Bar and Art, our other co-founder, are more than Crystal enthusiasts. They're on your side, and they will bend over backwards to help any way that they can, within reason, of course. Within reason. So yeah, if you let's start getting interactive. If you're ready and you want us to start, put a yes, put something in the chat so that we know you're ready, and we'll get cracking. Okay, so Bar, let's rock and roll.
Let's do that. All right. So the first thing we need to do, obviously, when we want to sign up for a new account is to sign up for a new account. We can do that by going to the lower part of the screen and clicking on the try it for free. Once you do that, you have a few options. You can either click on the sign up with GitHub, or sign up with Google, or sign up with your email. Now, because I'm doing those very all the time, basically, I'm going to sign up with my email, because that's my only option to actually sign up, because I finished all of my other options. And I'm going to sign up. So first of all, first name, you need to put Bar. It doesn't work if you don't put Bar. I'm kidding. Obviously, put your own names. And for email, I'm going to use the amazing feature from Google, which means that I can just put the dot wherever I want, and so I can have like 10 different accounts with the same email. Hacking.
Why haven't we called you the Hof yet?
The Hof.
Yeah. Why haven't we done that? Take it until the Crystal Conference to realize that you are the Hof, as in David Hasselhoff.
David Hasselhoff.
I don't know if I'm showing
Yeah. All right. So basically, you put your email, you put your password, and when everything is fine, you just click on create the free account. Hopefully, if everything is fine, you should get to this screen where you have confirm your email address. Now, when you get that, you should be getting your email with verify email link. You will just click that. It will open up this nice login screen, and then you can use your email, which I'm going to copy because I have no clue where I put the dot this time. Here. And put your password. Please, everyone, look away. If someone picked. All right. And I'm going to click sign in. Success. Now we have the option to create a new organization. What is an organization? Oh, here is Geva, by the way. Geva is our very nice CMO, and he also says hi to everyone who sign up for the application. So feel free to just click here and talk with him. He's a very nice guy. He likes lots of messages. So whatever you want to send him, just, friendly conversation or like asking for support or information, Geva is here.
In fact, let's have a little game. Why don't we all actually write something together now if you're all signed in? In the Crystal conference with Bar and Ollie now, they're doing a terrible job. We'll maybe ask him something really, really technical that he won't know how to answer. And yeah, let's see how he responds. We'll put him to the test.
We can do that. So while you're spamming Geva, let's talk a bit about what's the organization thing. So the organization is our main workspace where we can perform scans, set up projects, and even more. We can also invite our friends and new users to our own account, allowing us to collaborate with them and also share information. Especially this is really helpful if you're like a team, either a team of open source devs that work on the same project and you want to make sure that all of you are tracking the vulnerabilities and findings, or just, you're working at a company and it's going to be your company's organization. You can also always change the name afterwards. So that's totally fine to do something like this. Haha. But make sure that if you do it, don't do bars or because that's mine. All right, so I'm going to click on create. And as you can see, I get clappy emoji thing because I managed to click on create. And at that point, technically, we're done. We have an account. Now, we do have a setup that if we want to do local testing, we will have to do. Now, we have something that's called the NexPloit CLI and a repeater. The NexPloit CLI is our command line tool, and it's also open source, so you can see all of the shenanigans that we put there. It's really important for us to make sure that every part of our application which sits on your end is open, so that you can make sure what's going on there. You can see what's going on, because transparency is a great part of trust and security. So we want you to be able to just dig into the code, say, nice, and even you can send us PRs if you want. So the NexPloit CLI, yeah, internet connection specialist, that's for sure. So we have the NexPloit CLI, which allows us to do anything from starting a new scan from the CLI to actually pipe requests through a proxy-like solution, so that you can scan things which should not be accessible from the internet. Basically, some kind of a local proxy that reaches out to our services, grabs whatever connections, traffic packets we need, send them to your local instance that you're configured the scan against, and send back the information up. So we're going to do the quick setup here together. We have three options. We have the Docker option for all the cool kids. We have npm for those who just flow with the JavaScript, and you have Windows installer for I don't know who. But if you like Windows, please don't tell us about that, because even we have a limit. No, I'm just kidding. Obviously, Windows is a very respectable platform, and you can download the MSI installation of the NexPloit CLI. So you have all of those options. I'm going to be using the Docker because it's just easy, and also I said it's the cool kids do it, and I would like to think about myself as a cool kid. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to just copy that and paste it into a terminal. Now, the cool thing is that I don't know if I shared the terminal as well, but I'm just going to paste that into a terminal, let Docker pull in, it will just pull our latest image. It will take a moment, and we can verify that everything is running and functioning properly by using the docker run command, just to see that it prints the version. If you see
Can't see the terminal, by the way.
Yeah.
You're showing a window, not screen.
That is most likely true.
Yeah.
1 second. Let me check that.
Just while Bar's doing that, can we just get either people just to, I know that Bruno, great. He's started the repeater version 7.16.1. So thanks for Bruno. Anyone else that's going along with us? You can either, if you haven't already joined the Discord, let us know, or at least put something in the chat here. It'd be great to see who is playing along with us and having success.
Because success is important. All right. So the moment you have either the npm or Docker image installed, you'll click next, and you can just copy paste that. Now you will notice that there is already, our automatic wizard has already generated for you an ID and a token, which you should not be showing to the whole world in a presentation that's going to be recorded later, because that's a security issue, and as security professionals we will never allow something like that to happen. So keep them safe. So basically, just to verify that everything is working, this has to work, right? And once you run this command, you should basically have this connected button goes green. And that means that everything is working very, very nicely, and we're all very, very happy.
So far, Bar, Akash, Bruno, and Justin did it quicker than you. And this is your technology, and you're the CTO.
Damn you guys. All right. They're good. We're talking about the Crystal community here. That's exactly. That's elite. So once you have that green connected and everything is working nicely, you can click on done, and that brings you to the main screen where all the cool things happen. Now, this is the time where we want to stop our repeater, and there is a good point to that, because we're going to use the same ID and API key to run our CI/CD example now. So if you have both,
shared the resource, we haven't shared the repo to fork.
All right, so I'm going to share it here in the chat, and I'm sure one of my friends here, either Zan or Oliver, will also share it in the Discord. So we need to go to this repository and just fork it, right? And the moment we have it forked, we're going to do some cool configurations, and then we're going to see how everything like that uh, basically works.
I think it's worth just explaining the repo is very much purely for demo purposes to
yeah, of
showcase
course.
how the process works, how to integrate, to run a commit, just as a demonstration. I know the bar will go through that with you. For anyone that was wondering, what is this repo?
So do note that we have multiple branches here, which every one of those showcase a different example of how to run the scanner in different configurations. You can either just use the crawler, which is what I'm going to use for this example, or you can play around with the different ones later. But if you want to be with us on the same thing and on the same flow, I would suggest that you use the crawler at least for the first example, and then you can play around with everything which is in there. Now, let's talk a bit about what's actually happening here. We have a Docker Compose, which is basically just downloading our neural agent repeater, which is the CLI, the NexPloit CLI, the repeater that you all basically just started. And it downloads it as a Docker image into the system, into the CI. And we're also getting a local version of Juice Shop. Juice Shop is a broken application. It has vulnerabilities. That's the point of it. And that's why we love running and testing against it. So it's just starting both of those services in a Docker Compose environment, allowing us to run a scan between those two containers. That's the YAML, and the workflow. I'm sure like most of you are already reading everything that's going on there, but it's basically getting and downloading the Docker Compose, setting the environment, starting starting everything, the repeater. You can see that we're going to use the NexPloit CLI scan run command, which will start the scan. It's going to have the secrets embedded in, and we're all going to see how it's going to work. And then it's going to go into a polling uh, situation where we're just either waiting for 20 minutes or for the first medium severity issue to happen, and we will fail the build because we can see that it's configured as breakpoint. If you want, you don't have to break the build. You can just let it run and look afterwards at all the vulnerabilities that were found. You can, instead of looking at medium issues, you can do only high severity or any issue. If you don't want a timeout, let's say it's a big application and it's going to take a while, you can just not use a timeout and then it will just use whatever time it needs. So all of that is available and is pretty fun to play with. One thing we all need to do once you get to this page is go to actions and click on enable. All right, this needs to happen, otherwise nothing will happen. So make sure you enable actions. It's just one press of a button. And then we're going to go into settings and we're going to go into secrets because we need to set up two secrets. If you noticed, here on the README, it tells you exactly which secrets we need. So we're going to start with the NexPloit token one. We're going to create a new repository secret called NexPloit token. Now, what is the value? If you have the value from your repeater thing from before, you can use that. That's the -- token value. But if you don't, or you forgot it, or you delete it, or you want another one, you can click on your user settings, go down to manage your user API keys. You can click on new API key. You can do the first of all, very important security wise thing and just select all, so that everyone like can just, if they grab your secret, then it's game over. So just enable everything. That's the most secure option that we have. And then just add all right, we can just give it whatever name we want. And we're going to grab this. Obviously, again,
Bar,
never.
sorry to interrupt. I just realized I've been talking at you and I've been on mute accidentally. Can you zoom in a little bit just for people that...
Yes, very
There we
good
go.
point.
That's better.
All right, by the way, any accessibility needs, let us know. If you need us to zoom in, if you want me to change from dark mode to light mode, if you want us to paste some text into the chat, let us know.
Thanks, Trevor.
All right, so again, never expose those, never show those to anyone, please, right? Especially not when you're in a recorded conference. Keep those secure. This is just a reminder, the NexPloit token value. This is what we want here. Once this secret has been added, we need to add another repository secret, which is the repeater one. We can just copy it here to make sure there are no on any other issues, and just copy paste that. And in the value, please, you can just go to repeaters, click on new repeater, or you can just grab the ID from this one, right? This is the default one that was created, but yeah, so I'm going to copy that and put that into the repeater. Again, don't share those, never, ever. All right, so we have 2 repository secrets set up, and we are ready for our first test. What are we going to do? What we're going to do is we're going to fix the code. You see that we have a little bug here, right? We're just going to fix it. We're going to remove it and just commit changes directly to the crawler branch. That should be enough to already trigger our CI job. We're going to go into the CI job and take a look, see that everything is okay. We can see like how it's set up as the job, how it pulls up the relevant parts, run all the Ubuntu installation stuff that we all love, that doesn't take an hour to run at all. Like really, I don't know, GitHub use caching. So once all of that is ready, it always interests me, like if Canonical is like, yeah, sure, have fun, everyone, just build 20 million times Ubuntu a moment a day, like every hour. So we can also like continue following on what's happening. It pulls the Docker Compose, it should start running it. We will see that it pulls the repeater, and hopefully, if everything is going to work as we hope it will, we're going to start the NexPloit scan very soon. When that happens, something else really cool is going to be. All right, so we're in the wait for issues. Now, if you go to your UI, you can see your scan here. And so this is the scan that we just started from the CI. If you go into it, you can see all of the configuration from the YAML file. Everything about like what was configured, what was the settings. If you click settings on create, You can see who initiated it. You can see what is the crawler target, what security tests we're running against. And you can see that we're using the repeater that we just created. So that should start running very soon. Now,
sorry, Bar, just to interrupt.
yeah.
Bruno, Akash, Justin, are you guys up and scanning? Are you guys cool? Do you need any assistance? Is Bar going too slow? Is it going too fast? Akash has just set up the repo secret. So let's give it another 15,
Yeah.
20 seconds. We can explain, I don't know what else can we explain that we're showing?
Let's talk a bit about the waiting for issues. So why is this relevant? There are two main ways of handling tests as part of your CI. You can either say, all right, just let it run, don't stop my CI, like start the scan against some external thing that is just being deployed, and release the CI. I want to see my little green thing, and you just use the CI to kickstart the scan, but not to actually hold it. But here we take the bit more harsh way of doing things, and we instead say, okay, we're not just going to start the scan and whatever. We're going to put the successfulness of the CI based on findings and security nodes. So we're basically saying, if we find something, crush the CI, crush the build, because we don't want to put something out there with a vulnerability, because it's much harder later on in the process to fix those things.
Bar, are you on the Discord? Bruno, process completed with exit code 1. Do we have the same shit?
Interesting. What branch are you using?
Pixel also got the same issue.
I can speak in here.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, we can hear
great.
you. Who's talking? Bruno.
Hey, how are you?
Hey.
Good to talk to you.
Oh, first, sorry for my English. I will try to speak like
Bar speaks fluent Spanish. It's okay.
Or French.
Or French. Je suis désolé.
Yeah. Oh, parfait. I think maybe it's my token or on the setting secrets, actually GitHub, which are the default one when I start Docker on my terminal.
All right. I would suggest if you used the same API key from the example, that API key, I'm not sure that it has that it is configured to properly call the API start scanning, just the repeater part. So just to make sure that everything flows correctly, I would urge you to just create a new API key and just configure like with all the scopes. And later on, if you want specifically to ask what is relevant, I'll answer which scopes are actually relevant to run this scan successfully. Like obviously you don't need everything, but just for, so you can see that it's working.
So Bar, just show Bruno on the screen now. Where does he need to go? What does he need to do?
So in the main screen, you just go to your user settings. You click on your little profile, user settings, just scroll down all the way, and then you can create the new API key. Technically, the only thing you actually need is repeaters read, repeaters write. You need scans, run, stop, read, and that's pretty much it. But just so you know,
I check everything. I click on select all.
That's the
select
best.
All is the best one.
That's the most secure option. Trust me. Just give it everything.
Pixel, are you also? Is this useful for you as well? By the way, I'm assuming Pixel is also joining in. He or she is typing, or they.
Running the action again with a new token and repeater.
Okay.
Nice. All right. If your repeater is still running, the one from the example, right? So kill it. Like, don't use the same repeater ID if you have one running on your terminal, because obviously this one won't have access to the closed environment the CI is spinning through Docker Compose. So either just create a new repeater ID and use that for the secrets, or kill your own repeater, because otherwise the engine will be confused on which repeater to send the data to. Like, both of those will be pulling on the same things. Okay. Yay, cool. All right, so now if we look at my own scan, you will notice that first of all, it was stopped. It didn't finish, and it was stopped pretty quickly, right? The reason that it was stopped after finding a few security issues is that, no, let's go to RCI, sorry. Go to RCI, let's see what it says. So just, yeah, we just got an error while pulling. I guess that's why
Yeah, the same error.
But yeah, because obviously when we do a live demo, that's going to happen.
Exactly. Thank God this is being recorded as well, which is always
yes, good. Yes. And also because today is deployment day. So yeah, timing. But anyway, what I can do is just rerun the jobs and just have the same thing happens automatically again. That's the nice thing about automation, by the way. Instead of us needing to like, oh hell, now we need to reconfigure everything, we need to do all of that manually again, rerun tests. It will create everything again, it will spin up the environment again, it will start the scan again, it will do everything for us automatically. And this is where humans fail in security. When it comes to repetitive tasks, we're not good at that. Like all of us, we're really terrible at that. At some point, we're going to lose concentration. We're going to let things slip. And that's why having computers handle automation is the best thing ever. So let's do that always when it comes to security. Just, you know, we bring the ingenuity, and the new ideas and the innovation, but all of the, you know, just repetitive stuff, offload that to whatever automation is possible.
How are we looking, by the way, on Bruno? Did yours start? Akash, your scan, and also Pixel. How are we looking? He rerun as well. Akash is running. Great.
Still scanning. Nice. Okay, so while everyone is already scanning, good for you. Let's talk a bit about what actually is going on in the screen. So in the screen, we have the scan progress, which shows the tests that are running. By the way, the tests are all configured in the workflow. So the reason we have only those tests.
Zoom in, bar.
Okay, just a second. I'm just looking for the configuration. Just a second. It's in the start the scan, this one.
We've got an one of, is it Akash?
Oh.
Akash, scan polling ended with 502 bad gateway.
Yeah, that's interesting. We'll take a look at why it happens. Maybe it's something to do with, I don't know, maybe something's going on with the GitHub actions or something. I don't know. We'll take a look at that. But just so nice, very good, Bruno. Socket timer just now. I think maybe GitHub Actions is playing tricks with us. Sometimes it happens. No, but yeah, we can just retry running. As I said, the beauty of automation. But all right, no worries about that right now. So why do we
sorry,
only?
by the way, what we can, by the way, just do it, may be worth it, because it's always good, I think, to show how the scan runs manually anyway via the new scan tab. But perhaps we can just run a manual scan against brokencrystals.com,
We're
let
going
that
to do
run,
that.
and then show the results anyway.
So what is
interesting? Because my GitHub Actions worked perfectly this morning via the same repo.
As a developer, I can tell you that GitHub Actions are, yeah, we have the same issues when we do our internal build. Sometimes it's just like service degradation. No worries. By the way, we show this example on GitHub Actions, but obviously this can work on GitLab, it can work on JFrog, it can work in your Jenkins, because
Azure DevOps,
Travis, whatever you use, it's just a simple script. And if you want, in our knowledge base, we have documentation on how to do. Let me just also go in. We have all possible integrations. So you can just see CI pipelines here and just click on whatever one you're interested at, and follow the step-by-step guide. For example, the GitHub Actions. This repository is also here to show you an example, and you can just play along with the with all of the configurations, how to do it, how to configure. You see all of the things that we did are available here. Yeah, so knowledge base, neuralegen.com. Yeah. Now, what is broken crystals? Broken crystals is a broken application that we created, which has two versions. One is actually written in Crystal. The other one is written in Node.js. It's basically just an application which has a lot of vulnerabilities in it that you can play around with and break it and feel good about breaking it because we allow it. Just, go crazy. I don't know, use everything, open all the attacks. How do you do that though? To actually run a scan against broken crystals, you can just click on new scan. You can give the scan a name. I usually just use the URL because it's easy, but you can use whatever you prefer. You can click on scan targets, choose the crawler, and put broken crystals. Now, note that some targets or hosts are unreachable or unauthorized, obviously, because this is scanning from our online engine. Unless you're using a repeater, we won't allow you to scan things which has not been authorized for you as a user. And this is where your repeater comes into play. You can just start your repeater and then click select a repeater. Right here, you can see which one is actually working. For me, it should be the default repeater. Let me just, sorry, yeah. One second, my bad. And yeah, sorry. Okay, so here it is, the default repeater. Again, giving the scanner name, choosing the thingy, and crawler, putting the URL. Now, because we had the repeater, we have everything signed up as green. Yay! This will now allow us to run a full test, like a full scan. We can enable all of the tests, all of the super elaborate, time-consuming, deep testing things. We talked about XSS before, right? In the example. So you can run an XSS test that will look for those JavaScript injection stuff. We can run SQL injection testing. to look if we can, hack our way into your database. So just enable all of those because it's fun, and breaking stuff is, fun. Once in our life as developers, we have a chance to actually break other people's stuff or even our own, not just have our own stuff broken. So, have fun with it. And then you click on Start Scan.
Did you explain what business logic vulnerability tests are?
Maybe I didn't. We talked a bit about what they are when we did the presentation before, but just maybe a bit more because those are very unique for our solution. So business logic vulnerability tests are things which are not specifically, all right, I put this and that payload and then the database is hacked. It's more about trying to understand the context of the target and then basically manipulate that to your own good. Trying to understand that some kind of parameters are user IDs and then enumerate them to get information that you shouldn't have access to, or try to abuse some way that the API is working and get more information back than you should have. So all of those are business logic vulnerability tests, and there's this little eye icon for more information. It explains about what those tests actually do. Some of those have more information, some of those has less, but our knowledge base has information about all of those as well.
Yeah. Can I be salesy? Can I be salesy now? Only slightly. This is a very specific differentiator from the NeuroLegion platform, by the way, just because we understand the context and stuff like that. And I only say it because it's really, really cool testing capabilities to have as part of a dash scanner that would only be done manually. And when you look at CI/CD, when you look at DevOps, they are just synonymous with automation. And the less human bottlenecks and the less manual testing that you're relying on, the quicker you can sort of maintain your security testing with your DevOps speed. So I know I'm not the salesperson soapbox, but it's just important to note because perhaps, a lot of developers aren't security conscious, but actually organizations are now wanting to put security testing into the hands of developers. That's what shift left is all about. And it's very, very hard to do that with traditional or legacy tools. And yeah, we are very proud that organizations are able to do that with our technology. And I'm a proud person. So I'm just letting the folk know that this is a really, really cool feature. And there may be 4 tests now, but it's only going to be added to over the next sort of 6 to 12 months. So it's very exciting. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say. Sorry.
So no, I'm sorry. Just to continue the conversation, we just need your credit card numbers if you don't mind. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. All right. Yeah, but Oliver is correct. This is a machine learning based approach. Part of the things that we developed for the community, like Shynet and other machine learning and AI shards that we've created over the years, are being used here. So it's cool tech. All right, so at last we click on Start Scan, and we actually start scanning. This will pipe all of the traffic through your own repeater. So if you're thinking about, oh, hey, I can now scan everything in the world, do note that it goes through your IP and your local repeater, which means that the FBI will come to you and not to us. So, better not scan stuff that you shouldn't. So once this is running, we will see results start gathering soon. Did we send all of you the broken crystals link?
No, not yet. Let's add it on there. So you guys can all, you can all feel free to scan broken crystals whenever and as many times as you like. You could even run, if you are using any other security testing tools, run it against that as well. Yeah, scan it basically. Please feel free.
Yeah. So while this is starting, I want to also let you know that all of the capabilities starting a new scan, stopping the scans, managing all of that is also available through our API. We have a very, very detailed API documentation for everything that our system can do, from setting up multi-factor authentication to control everything about how scans are running. So really have fun with it. And if one of you create a shard dropper that starts new scans, let me know, because that would be really cool. But yeah, anyway, maybe I should do that. That sounds interesting. Okay, so everything that you want to do, everything that you want to play around with is all available in this documentation. Other than just starting to copy paste from your screen API, V1, docs, blah, 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 how do you get this information? You click on your user icon and then you have help. This also have the link for the knowledge base, the KB neural agent thing, and also the API docs. So if you want to, cook your own client, do that. It's going to be awesome. All right, so this thing starts to scan. We should see interesting stuff popping up from time to time. The moment something will be shown, I'll share that. Do we have anyone else started already scanning that? Because it's a really interesting website. And yeah, here it is. More of those weirdos. Okay. So
Akash, Bruno, did you start running a scan against broken crystals as well?
Nice.
Great.
Nice. All right, cool. Okay. So it started to find vulnerabilities. So let me maybe talk a bit about stuff that it found.
Yeah.
So we have insecure HTTP methods already found out, and we have insecure TLS configurations. What are those? So first of all, let's go to the insecure HTTP method put, so we can read out what it actually means.
Was XSS testing included in the testing category for that?
Yeah, I started with it.
Okay. No, because I just think XSS, once it finds it's a cool one to demonstrate.
Sure. Well, we'll see if it finds that. All right. No worries, Bruno. I see your I see your screenshots. I see that you have the error again. Okay.
Bruno, wait a second. Bruno, are you using Circle CI or anything else? We have a Circle CI example as well, if you're using that. If not, Bar, we need to look into.
Yeah, what's going on there?
But Bruno, the one thing that you need to always remember is whatever you're using, we want you to start using this now, today, tomorrow, whenever, as part of your pipeline. Any problems, any queries, jump onto Discord, and we'll be more than happy to provide whatever support it is that you need to get started. So just let us know.
All right. So going through what we have right now, like the finding that we got right now, that's insecure HTTP method in the kind of boot. If you want, you can read through the details, but in general, it means that the server allows us to just put random stuff in there. Obviously, it's not good because it means that we can just shove any file we want up to the server to most likely any directory, because we can see that we just put that on the root. Yeah, problem. Okay, so I see. Okay, so I see that we have a screenshot for broken crystal, which is running. Okay. Yeah, basically you can see that it worked, and it's pretty good for us as attackers, not that good for, you know, the developers. What more cool things did we find? Let's see. We found exposed common files. For those of you who manage websites, you must know that there's those files that we configure to make sure that our servers are working and certain applications. Those should 100% not be accessible to users. So please, if this shows up, that basically give you the user the capability to read your whole Nginx config file. That's bad, very bad. All right, so don't do that. By the way, this is the location for the put row test. You can now see it because yes, this is a vulnerability.
One thing, by the way, that I think we haven't mentioned to those listening, because it wasn't supposed to be salesy, but I think it's very important to stress, and it's not really a salesy approach, but one thing that you get with this NexPloit account that you perhaps don't get with other tools is that our engine goes through an automatic validation of every vulnerability that we detect, right? So unlike other tools where, you know, the biggest pain points in security testing, regardless of what you're doing, particularly with static analysis, for example, but certainly with dynamic testing, is false positives. And Bar touched upon the fact that, you know, the last thing you want is for your build to be failing, not only because you've got technical issues, but also because of false positives, right? Something that the engine says might be there, or it's possibly there, and your build's going to fail because it might be, and it needs that manual validation. Manual validation is another human bottleneck that you just can't afford to have in your DevOps or CI/CD pipeline. So NexPloit goes through a robust validation of every exploitable vulnerability that we will present to you. So you know that it's there categorically. We provide you with the proof and the proof of concept, and you know that it's there to be fixed. And ultimately what this means is that you are able to then start to prioritize your remediation without the need for that manual validation, whether that's by you, the developer, or indeed by a security team, if you have one. And most organizations don't. And if they do, there's one security person to 50 developers is the average. So, you know, you can be safe in the knowledge that the issue is there. You know, for us, a false positive is a bug. It's not part and parcel of our technology. So it's just something that's worth bearing in mind and understanding about our technology is we don't have false positives. So you can trust the output that you get to start fixing your issues. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we covered most of the stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Were there any questions? I can just see now that Pixel, Bruno, Akash in particular. Did you have any questions, queries? How are your scans going? Can you see this working for you as part of your pipeline at the moment? Did you have any Crystal specifically related security questions perhaps that you wanted to ask Bar? Then please shoot.
Yay.
Okay, great. Great, Pixel. Great to hear.
Everything works for me too. Great.
Great.
Nice.
Good to hear, Bruno.
No specific question. I think your tool is pretty cool. We try to we try a lot more on a specific website and also for Crystal website and so on. We'll see.
Yeah, sure.
100%.
Very happy for you to do that. And as I mentioned, any questions, queries, put it in the Discord. You're on there now. Hopefully, hopefully you can be a good, nice contributor to the community. But we're here to help you, more importantly, with any questions that you may have. But I suppose just as a very, very quick summary, okay? Just because that's also my job. Just as a reminder, you can test your web applications via your repeater, which you have connected. You can also test and scan your internal resources, right? Because it acts basically as a proxy to test your internal applications that may not be publicly facing, okay? Which perhaps wasn't mentioned before. You can test your web applications, internal applications, and APIs. So whether you're using REST, whether you're using SOAP, or indeed GraphQL, there's full support via NexPloit. So Bar, just go to scans and new scan. I don't know if we showed them because I did just pop off just to get a glass of water. But if you go to scan targets, then you can upload your API schema. Okay, deselect crawler and har. We support OpenAPI, Swagger, and Postman in a JSON and YAML file format. And you've also, by the way, got the option, once that has been uploaded, in editing the Swagger or editing the schema. This also provides you with the ability to run very, very scope-defined tests against specific entry points. But you have full support for that as well. Bard, do you want to say something?
That all of those examples are also available in the repository that you forked. So if you want to see how it works with a Swagger, or you can even like upload the Swagger directly. So yeah, we have a Swagger here in the example actions. You can play around with it.
Great. Swagger is Postman is good news for Bruno, so we've got that support for you there.
Nice.
One other thing, Bard, maybe just Bruno, Akash, Pixel, you're the ones that are basically here left. Are you familiar with HTTP archive files or HAR files? Bar mentioned it very loosely before about your QA automation. They're going to be doing their sort of functional scripts that may be exported as a HAR file, or if Bar goes to Broken Crystals and presses F12, you can open up the developer tools. What this enables you to do is interact with a specific entry point or a specific page or specific pages or a specific flow. And what that does, if you disable cache, preserve logs and disable cache, I don't know what is hard. If you disable logs and preserve cache, it will record each request and response, okay, for a very, very scope-defined test. Whatever is included in the HAR file defines the scope of the test. And you can actually use the HAR file and the crawler together. So you can use the HAR file to record an interaction with a particular part of your application, perhaps that may be behind some form of authentication, and then use the crawler to then crawl the entry points as well, extract the parameters, and build the additional attack surface. So the crawler can be used on its own, the HAR file can be used on its own, or indeed they can be used concurrently together to build the attack surface. Okay. So multiple different discovery methods for detecting the attack surface, right?
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, sorry, go on.
So once you have this HAR file, then yeah, obviously it's just a big JSON file in the end that has all the requests and responses that your browser did. And you can just use the network tools, the developer tools, and the network tab to export those very easily. Mm-hmm. Now, Oliver said something about authentication and authorization. Most of the applications that we're going to scan has some kind of an authentication mechanism around them, right? Some username and password, some authentication flow, something that we need to do in order to get deeper into the application. That's why we have the authentication. So if you go into scans, oh, okay, one moment, because Oliver wanted us to show you an example of an XSS. So just the XSS. So yeah, you remember what we said about before, about XSS being a pain. So here it is. We detected that there is an one parameter, which is an input parameter. Remember, input parameters. We give you the outer HTML, we give you the class name and the ID, and we even give you a screenshot that shows the execution of the attack. Basically, it's also have a little description, CXSS post-execution POC. It shows you the alert that happened basically after injecting the payload that was specified here.
With that XSS, for example, an attacker could have had a pop-up that could have been a page that would render or mimic your page. It can take your unassuming user to a page or a pop-up that they control, right? And what you're seeing there in the screenshot is our technology running a headless browser, looking at that reflection and showing it to you as a screenshot, giving you that proof of concept, the proof that you need to demonstrate that it's there, that is always done manually, typically with other tools. And this goes back to what I said previously about our engine going through that process of validating. And what you're seeing here is our very active approach to testing, our active approach to scanning, not just passively interacting with and guesstimating whether or not an issue is really there. We're actively interacting with the target, running this headless browser in this instance, interacting with it as if you or I were, and validating that vulnerability and providing you with the with that proof. So it's a really useful tool that goes that little bit extra to provide you with the automation that you need, so that you don't need to rely on security or indeed yourself to go away and validate that, to save you time. Because what we find, and what you may have found already, is that finding security issues late on in the process, maybe with an annual penetration test, is only going to cause you to have a massive and in many cases insurmountable technical debt and security debt, or security debt and technical debt, whichever sort of comes first. But to be honest, they're the cause of each other. If you can use our tool to validate where your security vulnerabilities are now, get a snapshot, know that they're validated, then start to prioritize your remediation against those, whilst integrating our security testing scanner into your pipeline, then you can start to chip away at any security debt that you may have, and then not add to it as you continue to go on, and start to prioritize remediation as you feel fit.
Maybe we can, I think, so just close it in regards to the authentication.
Sorry, yeah.
So yeah, so we started to just say that if we have a need for authentication, because the application needs something, you can click on new authentication, and we are supporting multiple authentication options, from just form authentication, where you specify the form that should be sent, to header authentication, an API call, OpenID Connect, custom multi-step authentication if there is like 5 different steps that you need, browser-based form authentication, which we will drive this browser that Oliver talked about, and login, and NTLM authentication for those of you who likes NTLM. I don't know why, but maybe some of you likes NTLM. So yeah, we support all of that. So I don't know, get scanning.
Yeah. So I suppose if there aren't any other questions, it's been a really good pleasure to have you all. Thank you very much for being interactive, particularly to Bruno, Justin, Akash, and Pixel. Really great having you. Please don't be a stranger on the Discord. Again, we're here to help. Obviously, have a play around with it now, but if you need assistance in integrating it a bit more, then let us know. Reach out to us. We're here to help you. It's been an absolute pleasure. And yeah, even if it's not only security related but also Crystal related, Bar spends most of his day in the community. Reach out to him; he'd be more than happy to help. And yeah, thank you again.